This is Huberman Legacy. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn how to rewire your brain and body for daily excellence using neuroscience, not guesswork. Let's get right into it. At the core of daily excellence lies the principle of neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to change itself in response to experience. But neuroplasticity is not automatic. It's triggered by a specific state, focused attention paired with active repetition. That means the things you choose to do, and the quality of your attention while doing them, matter immensely. When you repeat a task while engaged and alert, whether it's deep work, movement training, or a mental discipline like journaling or meditation, you're not just performing it. You're structurally encoding it into your neural circuits. The mistake most people make is seeking novelty every day rather than mastery. But in terms of brain plasticity, novelty is a spark, not a sustaining force. Consistent routine is what locks in skill and precision. What this means is, if you're looking to become excellent at anything learning, leading, creating, you must choose a deliberate set of practices and do them at approximately the same time each day. This signals to your brain, this matters, and recruits neurochemical systems that accelerate synaptic change. Excellence becomes not something you aim for, but something you embody neurologically. Daily excellence begins before your first meeting, before your workout, before your first decision. It begins with your internal state and how you prime it. Within the first 30 to 60 minutes of waking, your brain is highly sensitive to light, movement, hydration, and breath. These are levers, not luxuries. For instance, getting bright sunlight in your eyes early in the day triggers a healthy cortisol spike. That's not stress, that's activation. It sets your circadian rhythm, boosts dopamine, and anchors your energy output for the rest of the day. Hydrating immediately upon waking replenishes cerebrospinal fluid volume and supports neurotransmitter function. Movement, even light walking or mobility, increases blood flow to the prefrontal cortex, enhancing your ability to focus and regulate behavior. These small inputs create a domino effect. They shift your physiology from passive to active, from reactive to intentional. If you skip this priming window, you're not just missing a routine, you're missing the neurobiological launch sequence that sets the tone for the entire day. Excellence isn't about willpower alone. It's about setting the biology of your brain and body to work with you, not against you. The morning is your first and most powerful chance to do that. Your ability to direct and sustain attention is arguably the most undervalued superpower in modern life. In a world engineered for distraction, focused attention is not just a skill, it's an act of resistance. Attention determines what gets encoded in memory, what behaviors become habits, and which goals move forward. Neuroscientifically, attention is regulated by a network involving the prefrontal cortex and basal forebrain. When this system is trained, your ability to enter deep work states, often referred to as flow or deliberate focus, becomes not only more efficient but longer lasting. One way to train this is by aligning your deep work sessions with your brain's natural ultradian rhythm cycles of about 90 to 120 minutes. These are the periods when your cognitive systems are most capable of deep focus, followed by a necessary dip. The mistake most people make is pushing through the dip instead of cycling their work with their biology. Excellence demands you protect these cognitive windows like sacred territory. Turn off notifications. Control your sensory environment. Set a clear intention for what you're solving or building. Because once you master attention, you're no longer at the mercy of external chaos, you're the architect of your own performance. Most people treat stress as something to avoid, but that's a misunderstanding of how your nervous system actually works. Controlled exposure to stress is one of the fastest and most reliable ways to enhance both mental and physical resilience. The sympathetic nervous system, which governs your fight or flight response, is not inherently negative. It's adaptive. What matters is whether you train it intentionally. Take cold exposure, for example. A brief, deliberate session in cold water activates norepinephrine release, which sharpens focus, elevates mood, and trains your system to maintain composure under physiological strain. High-intensity workouts, breath hold training, and even deliberate public speaking challenges all are forms of hormetic stress, where short-term discomfort creates long-term adaptation. The key is exposure with recovery. You don't stay in stress, you cycle through it. This enhances your ability to stay calm and focused under pressure, a hallmark of excellence in any domain. When you understand stress as a tool, not a threat, you start to embrace discomfort as a necessary condition of growth. The nervous system doesn't evolve through ease, it evolves through challenge met with intention. Excellence is a 24-hour cycle, and how you end your day is just as critical as how you begin it. Sleep is not a passive state, it is an active, highly coordinated process that governs memory consolidation, metabolic recovery, and emotional regulation. But quality sleep doesn't start when your head hits the pillow. It starts hours earlier with how you transition your nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic dominance. Reducing overhead lighting and screen exposure in the last 90 minutes of your day suppresses late-night cortisol and allows melatonin to rise naturally. Finishing your last meal at least 2 hours before bed supports glymphatic function, the brain's waste clearance system, and helps maintain stable glucose levels overnight. Engaging in a consistent wind-down routine, such as light stretching, journaling, or non-stimulating reading, sends the signal to your brain that the cognitive load is done, it's time to repair. The paradox is that many high-performers sabotage their next day by squeezing more out of their evenings, checking emails, streaming dopamine-rich content, or working late. This disrupts REM sleep and throws off the next day's hormone rhythm. But when you respect the shutdown process, you set the stage for optimal performance, focus, and emotional stability the next day. Recovery isn't a break from excellence, it's the foundation of it.